Hello guys again. It's about again from our education. Apart from last time that we talked about the foundation study, this time I'm moving on to the other provider that can offer from certificate, diploma up until master degree program, but from a smaller college. Normally agent from C area when it comes to the New Zealand market, people usually knows about eight university. However, apart from university option, we do have some other smaller college, but focus on a specific major or field of study. So I think these study option could be considered if your student are looking for a more affordable study option and still can enjoy visa benefit as an international student in New Zealand. All right. So I will very quickly going through one by one of the college, namely New Zealand Tertiary College, NZTC, Yoobee College of Creative Innovation, or Yoobee for short, and NZMA, which is New Zealand Management Academy. All right. So on the very first, before moving on to the our provider, I just want to remind you guys about how can international student can become, I mean, to can get the residence visa through studying or working. So on the screen, actually, this image I have taken it down from the immigration New Zealand website. So if you really want to have a look or detail more on that, you can go on directly on the INZ. So the very first way is called skill migrant category pathway. So logically, if you can obtain 6 point, you will be eligible to apply for residence visa. So how can we obtain that 6 point? For example, if you complete the a PhD program and get a job offer in New Zealand, you automatically get 6 point. But if you study a lower level program, for example, master degree or bachelor degree, you will eventually get 3 points or 5 points. So in order to get the point that to add up to 6 point, you will need to compensate in return by the numbers of year workings in New Zealand. For example, a master graduate get 5 points. That student will need to study to work one more year with a median wage. Into 2025, the median wage of New Zealand currently is about 33 New Zealand dollars per hours. So in order to apply for resident visa, you need to satisfy to get 6 point together with median wage. And because I am the school representative, so I don't really want to go really into the visa side, but I would highly recommend you go directly into the INZ website to explore further on the rules and regulation of the skill migrant category pathway. The second way that can help international students to get residence visa is called green list pathway. The term green list is become more popular in recent years. It is because that green list is a list of the job occupation which really in shortage in New Zealand. For example, early childhood education teachers, some health related program like nursing or become a doctors in New Zealand, or construction, software engineering, those kinds of majors and job career is fall into the green list pathway. And green list will be divided into two, tier one and tier two. So for the tier one list, if you graduate, for example, from a software engineering program and you are holding a job offer on hand, you can apply directly into straight to resident visa. But if your job opportunity, for example, you want to be a early childhood education teacher, it is fall into green list tier 2. So for tier 2, you after graduate from the school, you also need to work for another 2 years with the median wage before you want to apply for the residence visa. So all of the actually the reason why I put this on the slide, it is because it's gonna be we offer some program that is gonna be related to that skilled migrant category and also the green list pathway, and I will gradually introduce to you in the next slides. The very first college that I want to introduce named NZTC. So basically, NZTC is the school is very focused on only one major named early childhood educations. So after graduated from our school, the student can become a registered teachers in New Zealand, specifically toward the early childhood education, or they can become for example, they can work as a teaching assistant or could be a management level at an early childhood center, right? So even though the NZTC has been founded like over 40 years ago, but NZTC officially become part of Up Education from last year. So that is the reason why there's no not too many, agents knows about NZTC because in the past they usually focus on domestic student only. But from now on, with the power of Up Educations, NZTC will be promoted more and gain more attention from international students. The other key selling point of NZTC is that our qualification is actually being recognized by both New Zealand Teaching Council and Australian Child Education and Care Quality Authority. It means that our graduate successfully graduate from NZTC, they can actually work in both New Zealand and Australia. So in the meantime, I do acknowledge that somehow Australian visa is quite tricky since last year. So if you really consider about visa risk, you can think about sending your student to NZTC, study for a few years, and by the time they graduate, I believe that the visa somehow will be getting better. Um, Okay, so on this slide, I actually put some of the useful link for the agent. For example, this is the job vacancy website by the New Zealand government. If you clicking on that website, you will see like how potential that job will be in New Zealand. For example, the last time I checked, early childhood education is still very good condition to get a job in New Zealand because it is very in very shortage of human resources in New Zealand. And the yearly outcome is actually quite good, ranging between 48 to 95K per year for an early childhood education teachers. Here are all the programs that we are currently offering. So but I need to make a note for you guys that the only three program that I highlight on the slide is the only option that allows students to become a registered teacher in New Zealand. The rest of the program, for example, level 5 and 6 or level 8 or bachelor's of education, after graduate, the student can only work as tutor or child care at an home center or kindergarten. They cannot become a registered teachers and cannot also apply for green list tier 2 job occupations. So from that point, that is the reason why I only mainly promote these three programs, which is Bachelor's of Teaching, Graduate Diploma in Teaching, and Master of Teaching and Learning. So I know that the name of the course is quite difficult to remember, but as long as the name includes the term teaching, it means that it's allow our students to become a teachers. Okay. So there are a few key selling point that I think NZTC is very suitable for international students, especially for those who really are aiming to get a residency in New Zealand. Firstly, our program is could be conducted on weekly intake. So instead of having a fixed intake like the other institution, we our student can start on every Monday as long as they arrive in New Zealand. And our program is very practical based. It means that our students are not just going to campus or just learning the theories. They spend most of the times to do practical elements at instead of on the campus. We send our students to a home center, which equivalent to the daycare or kindergarten. And because most of the time the student will study at the home center, it means that we don't require our student to go to our campus. They can study anywhere in New Zealand. If they think that Auckland is a biggest city in New Zealand, they really want to enjoy, you know, the international student vibe in Auckland, they can stay in Auckland. But if they think that they have a families or relatives based in South Island, they really go to Christchurch or even Queenstown to find a home center and study there. Here is our delivery mode. So like I said, our student will study the theory online. It means that we have a platform. The student only need to log in to study the theory, which has already been recorded, and they complete all the assignments and tasks via that NZTC online learning platform. Regarding the field experience or field practice, the student will conduct that at a home center, and we require all of our students to have to spend at least 16 hours per week at the home center. It means that most of their time will be at home center rather than at our campus. All right, so how it's going to be at a home center? So home center is going to be, like I said, very similar to the daycare and kindergarten. And at that home center, there will be an associate teachers who will guide you, who will support you during the time you study there. And their report is also conducted to the student assessment and performance by the end of the course. And one student being accepted by us and with the unconditional offer, we will help them to find the home center. And you can actually search for the childcare center at the Google Map or Early Childhood Education Directory, which I have already gave the link on the slide, and send a CV to them and become and register them at a home center with NZTC. And even you don't need to worry about finding a home center because, to be honest, as long as the early childhood education is fall into green list, it's very easy to find a home center. And none of my students so far having a problem of finding a home center. And along the way, our student support team will always walk by the student side to help them until they successfully find a home center. Right? So there are a few other key selling points that I really want to highlight here. First thing first, early childhood is on a high demand for even a beginning teachers. So with that link, when you visit that, you can actually filter how many how many home center is actually looking for candidate in New Zealand. For the last time that I have searched in Auckland, having around 70 to 80 childcare center is looking for, new positions. So I think it's very good high demand for this type of job. And also because our student, our qualification is accepted in both New Zealand and Australia. So the student can consider to spend few years in New Zealand to study, and then later on, maybe they can decide to move to Australia to settle down. And in terms of visa, Even though we are just a college, but our students still can enjoy every visa benefit like the other international students. So there's no difference between the student who study at the college or at the university. For example, for our Bachelor of Teaching and Master of Teaching, the student can get the 3 years post-study work visa. Meanwhile, the graduate can only offer 2 years of post-study work visa. And this is an entry requirement. I think in terms of NZTC has very good uh, characteristic in terms of tuition fee, the intake, the flexibilities, but one of the main hindrance to recruiting for that major is because of the English qualification. Because NZTC also need to follow the New Zealand Teaching Council regulation in terms of the English qualification for international students. To be specific, we require the student to provide either IELTS 7 O band or PTE O band. We know that it is not easy to achieve that. That is why we also accept combined result from multiple IELTS or PTEs. For example, for the first time, the student got overall IELTS 7, but speaking got only 6.5. That student can take the whole full test of the IELTS the second time and get the speaking 7. So we can combine the two test results. It is still accepted. And only the Master of Teaching and Learning, which is the level 9 program, we require a GPA at the bachelor degrees of 75%. But for the Bachelor of Teaching or Graduate of Teaching, we don't really require the student to have a background in early childhood or in education. We don't even have a specific requirement for GPA at the high school or the bachelor degree, as long as the student can provide the qualification plus the IELTS 7 or band or PTE 65 is fine. There is few others requirement. For example, similar to other education program, we usually require a referee report, a police check, and also the literacy and numeracy test. Everything and also the interview. The interview is quite important, even though it's just a 30 minutes interview, but it is more like a role play interview. So we have some specific situation and to see how the student can solve that problem and to see if they have some characteristic that suitable to, work with a small student like lower than 5 years old. Here are the document checklist. I will not going through this because I will send back the slide to the Just Education team so you can review it later on. And this is the bachelor degree pathway that I want to introduce to you guys. For example, if the student has already got graduate from the high school and got the PTE 65, they can go directly into the Bachelor's of Teachings. And after complete 3 years Bachelor of Teaching, the student can enjoy 3 years of post-study work visa. However, I know that there's still some of the case that student they really want to study go to study abroad this year, but the IELTS is not qualified yet. That is why we have the option of the diploma level 5 and diploma level 6 program, which require lower IELTS starting only from IELTS 5.5. But in returns, the disadvantage of that is the numbers of year for post-study work visa will be reduced to only 1 year. So from just my point of view, I always try to encourage my student to get IELTS 7 open or before they register for the bachelor degree, right? Here are also the pathway for students who has already completed the bachelor degree in their home country, and now they want to, for example, they want to pursue higher qualification, or they really want to change the major. I have quite a lot of students who are starting with the business background, but later on they have a plan to really want to settle down in New Zealand. So they think about early childhood education. So in that case, your student can consider these two options. If they want to study a short program with a lower tuition fee, they can think about the graduate diploma in teachings. But for the Master of Teaching, even though it has a bit higher entry requirement and higher tuition fee, but in return, it offer a longer time for post-study work visa. So it's really depend on the student financial abilities and their study plan as well to choose between graduate diploma or Master of Teachings. So what is the plan after the graduation? After graduation, all three programs allow students to have a few 2 to 3 years post-study work visa. But in order to become a registered teachers, they also need to do some other paperwork with the teaching council. That is called registration and practicing certificate. So registration is you need to submit an application to teaching council, and you only need to do one time to register as a teacher. However, if you want to start your work, and I believe every early daycare center in New Zealand will require their teacher to provide practicing certificate, and that certificate need to be revised every 3 years. And after you have already obtained those two documents, you should work another 2 years before you want to apply for a residence visa. So that is, I think, one of the quickest way to get residency through studying the early childhood education program. All right, so this is the tuition fee of the NZTC. Our tuition fee range between 26,000 per year up until 52,000 for the master program. However, we do offer the 15 or 25% of the scholarship. So I would say that our tuition fee after the scholarship should be around half or two-thirds compared with the university. So it's more affordable study option if your student don't really want, spend too much money on studying abroad. So this is should be considered. And I have this slide actually just summarize a little bit in terms of the key selling point of the NZTC. If you have any question, you can leave it on chat box. So we will try to address all the questions by the end of the session today. Okay, the next provider that I'm having here is called Yoobee College. Yoobee College, one of the founder is actually staff from Disney. So our strength is design, animation, IT, and technologies. So we have 3 campuses over New Zealand, which is Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch. Yoobee, the thing I really like about Yoobee is that we don't have any paper tests. Every assessment and student performance will be evaluated based on the real project. So it's very practical. And the interesting thing that when I visit Yoobee is that I surprised that there's not too many international students, but there's quite a lot of Kiwi student. I mean, domestic student. Rather than choosing the university with a very high tuition fee, they prefer more affordable college with the same qualification and be able to find a job after graduation. That is the main point. So for the bachelor degrees, we are currently offering 3 types of bachelor, which is Bachelor of Animation, of Marketing and Creativities, and Software Engineering, in which software engineering, just so you know that it is fall into green list tier 1 job opportunity. So after graduate from the bachelor or master degree of software engineering, if you can find a job that fall into green list, you can definitely apply for straight to resident visa without any numbers of year working in New Zealand. So that is a very good opportunity for residents. In terms of entry requirements, all three programs have the same English requirement of IELTS 6.5 or PTE 50. Only for the Bachelor of Animation, we require an art portfolio. It means that the student should have the experience or some artwork ready to submit to our admission teams. Otherwise, if their portfolio is not qualified or they don't have enough time to prepare the art portfolio, they will need to study another 20 weeks of certificate level 4, which is also provided by Yoobee College. Here are some of the job career opportunity that might be offered to the Yoobee students. That is all ranging between animation, marketing, and software engineering. And like I said, our school is very practical. So the thing that I'm really confident about Yoobee is that our students has been exposed to real project from year one, and having a lot of opportunity to work directly with our industry partners. Regarding the postgraduate program, I also have another 3 programs, namely software engineering. Again, is greenlist tier 1. But we also have a new program named Business Analytics and Healthcare Informatics. The good thing about our master degree is that you can complete that within only 1 year. It's very quick. So even with short study of time, it still ensure that student get 3 years of post-study work visa after graduation. Okay. And the tuition fee of all 3 programs are exactly the same with 36,000 New Zealand dollars. It has already been cheaper than university, but we still also offer the scholarship, which is 25% or 10,000 New Zealand dollar applying to new programs. Unlike the early childhood education for IT master, we require the student to have IT backgrounds. So the student should have the bachelor degrees in computer science, information technologies, or if they have some other related major, but they should have a mathematics subject, which is really important in coding or study IT related programs. This is the pathway for the master degree student. So we have 3 ways to accept student into the Master of Software Engineering. The very first one is a traditional one, Bachelor's of Computing with IELTS 6.5. They can go directly into the master degree. However, if your student, for example, they study business majors, but they got math subject, our school will require the student to complete the online bridging course, which is free and lasts up to 12 months before they officially entering the Master of Software Engineering. With some other case that have diploma in related area, we still can accept them if they can provide 3 to 4 years work experience. So we're quite flexible on admission. So in case you have students that interested in software engineering, but you are quite unsure whether student can be accepted or not, I would highly recommend you send the transcript to Yes Education team and to us, because we can do the pre-assessment so we can tell you whether we can accept the student before you submit the application, which is save much more time for you guys. Completing the Master of Software Engineering, the student can get 3 years of post-study work visa, and there are 2 ways before they get into the settlement opportunity. For example, when it comes to finding a job, if the student can find a job that fall into green list role, they can immediately apply for residency. But just in case that unfortunately the student need to work some other job that is not really fall into green list, they should work another 1 year to get enough 6 point of skilled migrant category before they apply for residency. So as long as the student can hold a qualification of Master of Software Engineering, I don't think it's really a big deal to really get a job and settle down in New Zealand. So the opportunity is there. Regarding the new master program, even though it is not fallen into green list tier one, but I have checked on the some job checks website of the New Zealand government. Their earning for this type of major is actually quite good. For example, Master of Business Analytics, you can earn up to 100,005 New Zealand dollar per year, which is really, really good. Similarly, with healthcare informatics, it's ranging between 75 to 95K per year. And I leave the link on the slide. Is I also really want my agent to actually explore the job opportunity and have a better consultation with the students. All right. Last but not least, I have the final one, the final college named NZMA. This one is more likely focused on vocational program. It means a shorter program, less than a year per level. But after completing the program, the student can start seeking for a job in New Zealand. So in here, we offer quite a lot of major ranging between cookery, hospitality, healthcare, even construction and pharmacy. However, from my personal experience working for Southeast Asia some of the Southeast Asia country, only three programs on the screen are the most in demand by C students. So in here we have healthcare program. We provide a 33 weeks program, which is equivalent to level 4 healthcare certificate in health and well-being. And we have three different strengths, either disability, community health, and mental health and addiction support. So student will study very specialized in one of these three strands, and the student can after completing this level 4 program, the student can start looking for a job in New Zealand. But the disadvantage of the vocational program is that they will not have the post-study work visa compared with the bachelor or master degree at Yoobee and NZTC. So for NZMA students, if they still want to stay longer in New Zealand, they need to get a job and apply for another type of visa named accredited employer work visa. Currently, the entry requirement for this program is completing high school and providing the IELTS 5.5. So I don't think it's really hard to get into this program in terms of entry requirement because anyway, it is just level 4 program. So we require basic English and just completing a high school is fine. Similar to healthcare, after completing the high school, the student can consider the hospitality programs. We have level 5 and level 6 program, and after completing the level 6, beside getting a job, if the student still want to pursue a higher qualification, for example, bachelor degree, they can really think about Auckland University of Technology. In the past, we have NZMA student who actually progress into an AUT to complete their bachelor degree and to get more post-study work visa at around 18 months. We also have the cookery and baking programs, but in contrast to hospitality, for the hospitality student, after completing the high school, the student can enter directly into the level 5 program. But for cookery or baking, we require the student to start from level 4 program. I think it's because it's require more skill to be in the kitchen or in a bakery. So that is the reason why we offer a level 4 program. If your student want to skip level 4, they need to prove that they have at least 1 year work experience at the same position at a kitchen or a bakery. So our admission team can consider to skip level 4 and offer level 5 directly. And same like healthcare and hospitality, cookery is not offer any post-study work visa. The student will need to apply for accredited employer work visa if they really want to stay in New Zealand. All right, so scholarship. Uh, the reason why I put it in the same slide because the scholarship scheme is similar for all three colleges because it's operated by Up Education. So we have two types of scholarship. The first one is up to 25% for all of the program, and it could be assessed based on the personal statement or interview. But most of the time, I think the student will are more willing to provide the personal statement rather than sitting on the interview. And for new program like NZTC of Master of Teaching and Learning or Yoobee Master, we don't offer 25%, but the 10,000 New Zealand dollar because it is new program launching in 2025. And I know that the information is massive and I have been talking for too long. So just in case yet you really want to download the brochure or flyers for a specific program, I would highly recommend you visit our Asian portal. So all of the e-copy of the flyer and brochure can be downloadable there. And if you really want to have more support in terms of the visa or connecting with Education New Zealand, you can visit the website of ENZ Asian Lab so you can find more information about visa related. Okay. Well, that is all of my sharing session. So we might move on to the Q&A session for today.
All right, thank you, Val. Okay, so I think this is quite interesting, like the fact that for the teaching programs, right, you do allow combined English test scores without. Is it like no matter how many times to take it, or let's say example they just have to take it like two times, then they combine the two results, or how
We
does it work?
actually don't have limitation on the number of tests,
Okay.
but currently I think my student only take 2 to 3 only.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think this is just let's hope that's kind of case. But I mean, you never know. Honestly speaking, we never know how the student would. I mean, let's say if they have to take the test twice, I usually recommend to take some English classes
Mm.
before they can retake the test. But you do you accept, like example, IELTS, they have a one skill retake?
Unfortunately, IELTS one skill retake is not accepted because it's required by teaching council. That student need to
Okay.
take the full test.
You have to take the
So,
full test. Okay, so that's
um, I think not just NZTC, all of the institution in New Zealand that offering early childhood education program that need to follow and that New Zealand Teaching Council.
okay. So there is a difference. Okay, sure. So you can retake the test, you can combine the test, but you can't take the retake. You can't take the one skill retake. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great. No problem. Um, okay, great. I think there's a question answers. Yeah. Download the flyers and brochure. Not to worry. I will send the slide provided by Bao. Usually the slides will have the link and information provided. Bao, I think other than the slides also, you can feel free to send me all the I think I can send the agent portal is there, so I think I can just send the
Mm,
link to the slides. It will be in the slide. The links are all in the slides. I'll try to
mm.
send it to you hopefully by tomorrow. Is that okay, Bao? The slide.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Right
Yeah,
after this session
the
today.
session, that'd be great. Yeah, and I'll send it all to your respective group chats, and then you can access the information from there. No problem. Then I'm just wondering I think you also mentioned about the post-work visa, right? So let's say example for the graduate diploma, is it correct? Graduate diploma in teaching, right? The
Yes,
graduate
yes.
diploma in teaching. So the post-study work visa will be 2 years, is that correct?
Yes, that is gonna be 2 years because graduate diploma in teaching is only level 7
Mm-hmm.
program, but it's fall into early childhood, so that's why they can be offered 2 years.
Okay, only because it's offered in early childhood, then it's 2 years. Okay. So
Mm,
let's say if
mm,
it's like, sorry, because I understand that, let's say depending on the New Zealand level, then they will be
mm,
awarded the duration of the post-study work visa. Like example, master's, I know is definitely 3 years. The
mm,
bachelor degree, depending on how many years the student actually studied for the
mm,
degree. So
Yes.
but the graduate diploma generally is 1 year. Generally speaking, just 1 year, right? Generally speaking.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But except for grade list
Yeah, except for
major.
grade list. That means early childhood. Yeah, guys. That means if you study the graduate diploma in teaching here and under New Zealand Tertiary College, then it's 2 years.
Mm, mm.
Okay, great. No problem. No problem. And I think we can. Any more questions, everyone? I think there's another question here. What is the main intake for New Zealand University? So what's your main intake for the Bachelor and Masters? Is it February and July?
Normally February or March will be the main intake for every institution in New Zealand because their high school student will complete by around December or January, quite similar to Australia. So in February is a main intake. Some of the uni or colleges also open July intake, but it's not guaranteed for all of the major.
Okay, understood, understood. Because I'm trying to. Okay, sure, no worries. But so I think it really depends on the intake is and let's say example for students that they did the New Zealand, they're onshore and doing the New Zealand high school.
Mm.
They have to take the university entrance exam or it depends on the student?
Um, so in order to get an NCEA result, yes, they need to take the NCEA level 3 final test.
Okay, fine.
But remember, we have foundation.
Yeah, you do have foundation, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
for the foundation, it's actually equivalent to high school diploma in
Yeah.
New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
So just in case that your student is just complete, for example, year 12 or year 11 in New Zealand, or just NCEA level 2, they can still be accepted into our foundation. And once obtaining the foundation certificate, they can think about moving on to the other university or colleges.
Mm, okay, sure. No problem. No problem. Okay, I think we can be open up for one more question. Mm. Actually, speaking of, I think for cases like that, what are your thoughts and opinions, especially for students who got who just recently got a visa rejection, from like other countries, let's say example Australia or UK?
Mm. Yeah, good question because I have been asked quite a lot, especially for those agents who really want to expand to New Zealand because they have a big concern that once you have been rejected by, for example, Australia, it's very difficult to study abroad. But for New Zealand, I think the school and the immigration are more reasonable. For example, since last year, I actually have quite a lot of students who register for NZMA because you know that the vocational program in Australia is quite struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So they have been rejected once by Australia. From our side at the school, we still issue the offer letter as long as the student can provide us two things. First is a refusal letter. The second thing is explanation letter. For example, if you have been rejected by financial reason, you can outlining another explanation letter saying that in the second visa application to New Zealand, what I have been improved. So, New Zealand is somehow more logical and more reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why I received quite a lot of interest from agent in C for NZMA because last year is very difficult for vets program in Australia.
Mm-hmm. I think to be fair, this year is kind of taking a hit this year, especially. So I think it's also good that let's say even though guys you have some visa with the students visa refusal histories, then they can also still consider for up education's tertiary, especially for those students who they maybe got refusal for the master's program. Now if you look at it, the master's program is also 1 year, and
Mm,
then you get a postgraduate work visa for 3 years in New Zealand. I think that's also another selling point as well, guys.
yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, I think fantastic. I think we can officially end the session. Thank you so much, Paul. This is also another once again another insightful session about New Zealand and also all your tertiary partners.
Thank you, team, and everyone have spending the time with us today. Maybe stay tuned for further because just so you know that we are having one more provider on board by the end of this year. And I cannot really review the name for now, but very excited because it's gonna be a business and IT program, which is very popular major for Asian students. So hopefully I can share with you guys very soon.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a great
Yeah.
day ahead.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.